Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. We are going to dive into a new area in section 7 of the island of Nublar, and this is going to be a new specific build. We also have some new footage, as you can see now, of a construction site. This is something I do for my own entertainment, maybe. That's kind of how I see it. And we're gonna transform it into a nice enclosure. If you like this video, leave a like. If you haven't subscribed yet, do subscribe and follow me if you want to see more, that is. And we're going to dive into speed build. Let's do it. So for this, it's gonna be a herbivore enclosure. This is going to be the first one for section 7, and like every dinosaur or reptile we have done so far, it's gonna be one of them that we haven't included in any of my series so far. So this is going to be the Pachyrhinosaurus, and the Pachyrhinosaurus is already part of the franchise, and we haven't seen it so far, but it's gonna be something like exclusive towards the public. So Pachyrhinosaurus has to be in the Island Nublar Park already. There is evidence of it that it was going to be in Jurassic World Domain, if I'm correct about it, and we also have found proof that it was being used in the canon lore. For that, we decided to come up with the Pachyrhinosaurus, as it's already on the island, but it wasn't publicly released as of yet. More background for that I have to figure out myself for now. So this is going to be its enclosure, and we are trying to make a little bit of an overlook of the area over here, and this is something I'm going to continue on the rest of the build. I thought it was a nice idea, like you have savanna areas in modern zoos, where you can have a look over the savanna area and see the giraffes, see the elephants, and specifically most of the herd animals that we have today. And this is the same idea for the Pachyrhinosaurus. I also wanted to include more animals beside just one species. That is going to be something I try to figure out later on. I'm using most of the time rock work, as you can see here, and this is something you can see returning a lot more. Yeah, it's looking really cool, and I like it, and it gives more of a secure feeling with the invisible fences as well, so you have an overlook. It's not behind bars, behind fence work and everything like that. So this is it's been quite a while since I have finished a build. I had, of course, my holiday, my vacation, which sadly today has ended, so I'm back to work. Decided not to do much with the game itself. I have explained that in my live streams as well. I just had more time for myself, but now I'm back into it, and when I started to get back into it, I also noticed the DLC and the new update coming out, which has, at this point of the live stream, well, maybe not this live stream, but after it, has been released eventually. And I have been using most of the new decorations and lights, and specifically the lagoons, to upgrade everything. So this build is halfway built when the DLC and the new update arrives, and I tried to record some footage after I did the live streams, which you can watch back, of course, but the speed build is being included here as well. And my recording file got a bit corrupted at the end. It's not that big of a deal, but most of the park has been, most of the enclosure has been finished, but it's a good thing. The rest surrounding it and all the extra upgrades and everything I did afterwards, that is something you have to basically see in the end of the video, where we have a little bit of an overview what is new. So the Pachyrhinosaurus is a dinosaur. It's a ceratopsian that before the new update had a couple of dinosaurs it did like, and a couple of dinosaurs it absolutely didn't like. It loved to share its enclosure with two other ceratopsians, which was the Casmosaurus and Styracosaurus. I didn't want to include those as of yet, because I think on Nublar there are enough ceratopsians so far. We of course have the Ceratops, Triceratops, and Sinoceratops, which are being used in the builds of the first Jurassic World Evolution game. And I wanted to include something else. I wanted to do something that is returning in Jurassic World, in the lore itself. And some dinosaurs have been returned to different locations. So, for example, Triceratops is in Triceratops territory. It's also in the Gyrosphere Valley. Even more, Apatosaurus is in like Gallimimus Valley, Gyrosphere Valley, and even Cretaceous Cruise, something like that. So for that, I decided to bring in the Edmontosaurus, because we never really seen them in any of the media. We do know that they are part of the park and that they are officially part of the Gallimimus Valley, which are just a couple of the new species ones. So I wanted to include 3 to 4 members of a different group of Edmontosaurus, which is like how I create the story around my builds. They are from Isla Sorna, which is where they also originate from the time of Jurassic Park. The other species I already had in mind to be an ankylosaur, I have to correct that, ankylosaur, and do something that isn't part of Nublar as of yet, but also isn't really returning in any of the other previous builds of the previous game and everything, you know. So I started to use the Crichtonsaurus, but eventually I thought it was too small for this area. I think Crichton, and that's also one of the things, they have changed their size, so I have to readjust it after I released it the first time. I think like now the size that has changed is way too small for this area. So Euphocephalus have been selected to be the third species in this enclosure. It is a lot of work with the rocks, as you can see here. It is something I do enjoy because it looks so cool. And if you make it more rocky terrain, it is dry and everything. But eventually, if you see it in the video as well, I'll be using the foliage tool to give it a little bit more grass, and that turns all the rock terrain into more greener terrain already. So that's kind of like a disappointment. You cannot see every terrain when there is grass on top of it, but I prefer it this way. At the end of the build, it looks really cool, and I'm so pleased how it looks from the point of view from the guest. If you walk through it, it is maybe a little bit too high to look upon, look past the rocks and the decorations on the edge of the fence. But it's about the idea, you know. It's like, for the guests and the point of view for that, it is still a bit weird to me. Sometimes it looks like you're too big as a person, sometimes it looks you are too small to be walking around like a child, you know. So this build is going to continue a while, and I'm gonna let this just go. Like most of my videos, after I have done my little talk about it. I will be returning in the last part of it, and then we will have to see how things were going. But for now, enjoy the music, enjoy the speed builds, and be back in a bit. We are nearing the end of the build at this point, and I want to point out a couple of other things. Is that I have been reworking a lot after this video, after the recording was made. And of course I got a recording where we would see the creation of a couple of new things, as well as a hotel area, a little bit of an old style Jurassic Park theme, with the thatch huts and thatch buildings, which is on the side of the overlook pathway of the enclosure itself. So you will see it in a bit in the more scenic footage at the end. And I hope you enjoyed it. There is a lot that has changed after this video already. I think I will make a different kind of video. I got a couple of ideas to make like a more news related thing. This has changed in the park or something like that. That would be a nice idea for now. But this is it for this enclosure. I hope you liked it. Leave a like if you do or did like it, and let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. And if you have some suggestions or questions about the builds or about the lore, I am writing at this point something about the story and the idea behind what I'm doing since the game Jurassic World Evolution 1 launched, which is like an alternate universe. I have mentioned this a couple of times during my live streams or my recordings as well. So I'm gonna explain everything in there in a couple of episodes, but if you have questions, let me know down below. And for now, sit tight, watch the last couple of scenic shots there, and I hope to see you again. Have a wonderful day, and bye bye.